energy is traded unhindered by national borders in open, transparent and liquid wholesale markets. Since it was founded in 1999, that's what Efet, the European Federation of Energy Traders, has been striving for.
There was no real detailed legislation in the member states. There were no conditions, there were no standard contracts in the market, there were no facilities for trading. So I think at that moment it was obvious that we needed to get all forces in the market together that wanted to push for this market development. And that's actually the basis of Efet.
The Efet vision is one where traders intermediate in the energy value chain, good for the economy and energy users long term.
Trading, and particularly energy trading, is a forum and a platform for various buyers and sellers to come together and to facilitate the exchange of a particular commodity or a particular instrument to manage their portfolio and to manage their risk.
Energy traders link competing producers at one end of the value chain with competing suppliers and final consumers at the other end, optimizing supply and demand. They provide price signals to the marketplace whether to produce or not produce energy.
Before there was energy trading in Europe, we had an inefficient oligopolistic system where everybody had to hold reserves, and there was no price for reserves, there was only costs for reserve. Now what the market does is very simply sending information on scarcity equal to high prices or abundance of energy at certain times.
Bringing many buyers and sellers together through the platform of trading breeds healthy competition.
By having competition, by having a platform that companies can use where they can actually compare different buyers and different sellers and look at different maybe service offerings around a product and different price levels, you actually force all participants to be efficient.
Efet is not your traditional organisation. There's a truly decentralised bottom-up approach where people are the key asset.
If people have good ideas, that you empower them, we can form a task force about it, encourage them to write a paper and doing it. And therefore I think we have produced so much practical things because a lot of people could use the Efet organizations to fulfill their own ideas and we encourage it. And this culture of openness, I think, made it much more productive than I think traditional associations are.
As soon as you have a topic coming up and popping up, it's like forming a dynamic formation of a team via email or whatever the measure is. People find and say, well, this is a topic which needs to be addressed, and well, everybody who's interested in that topic and willing to provide input into that topic is invited.
It's a virtual organisation with skilled individuals all over Europe, linked up via phone, laptop and Efet's own website and newsletter.
It's an organization made of people, which I think is great, and I think it's one of the peculiarities of Efet, so that people, no matter where they are, they work for Efet and they just need to have a laptop in front of themselves and possibly a telephone, which helps.
The growth over 10 years is clear to see. There are three main committees: electricity markets, gas markets and legal. Then there are subgroups. Some focus on business process standardization. Some focus on one country, like Task Force France and Task Force Switzerland. Others deal with geographical regions, Task Force Central and Eastern Europe and Task Force Iberia. And Germany even has its own sister organisation, Efet Deutschland. Other task forces focus on particular traded instruments or products, like emissions trading and financial regulation. So 10 years on, just what achievements can Efet celebrate? It's in electricity that Efet is closest to its goals of openness, transparency and liquidity.
It would not be an exaggeration to say we have been instrumental in developing the whole framework for the way in which wholesale electricity is transacted inside the European Union. And I think we have accelerated the development of the market in a way which it's difficult to see would have happened but for our existence.
And I think specifically what Efet's role has been very important in assuring a minimum set of transparency rules in the electricity market, where regulators and Efet have worked together closely to define what is the minimum level of transparency needed for the energy market to work.
People, I think, became increasingly aware about the importance of transparency. They're not afraid, as in the beginning, and now we can see some concrete steps indeed, and information is published, is more accessible than before.
Channeling the experience of real-life traders through one organisation, Efet has gained influence over EU lawmakers and regulators.
Efet has, in that, being head of the herd, instead of awaiting regulations and deregulations being pushed to the different companies and different member states, Efet has gathered the interests of the different parties involved and made sure that the process of energy trading would be installed and extended as much as possible, and has been very successful in that.
Efet has been an incredibly successful lobby and policy group, and as such has been quite influential at the European Commission level with transmission companies and with regulators. And I think a key to the success of that has probably been the ability of Efet to base its advice on real practical traders' opinions and views, and being able to implement that into the policy-making process.
I think one of the biggest contributions that Efet has done is they've given the energy trading community a voice, not only with the Commission in Brussels but with national governments and to the press and public in general.
The Efet master contracts have become the industry standard for buying and selling electricity, natural gas, emission allowances and related products.
I mean, the industry needed to agree on standard terms and conditions to do business, and Efet proposed a standard contract. Now this contract is widely used within the industry, and people even are saying, let's do an Efet with each other, meaning let's set up a contract between ourselves to do business based on Efet terms and conditions.
In particular the credit provisions, so the provisions which protect you as a user have been tremendously successful in difficult times, and this has created the reputation success of this documentation throughout Europe.
EfetNet is another major achievement, set up in 2004 with over 40 companies already on board. It's an advanced software for automating energy trading.
It's really about connecting counterparties and stakeholders in the market together in order to create a network, a secure community which allow different participants in the market to exchange information in a secure and electronic way. So we replace the fax machine, we replace the fax paper with the Efet box and the electronic document.
The amount of reduction in operational risk is significant as far as I can say. We only have to look at signals where potentially errors are occurring in the process rather than checking every single field and ticking it off manually.
The Efet structure of national and regional subgroups working on the ground in key parts of Europe has also borne fruit. In Germany, for example, where Efet Deutschland was set up in 2001.
And even the old monopolist companies have understood or start to understand that liberalization is a chance and not a challenge. It's a chance for them because they are well positioned. They could take advantage of the new world, of the new trading world. And they are starting to do this. And we are helping them also understanding the new issues. And this can only be done if you are on the ground in the country.